Hello, everybody. This is Living Word of Darkness, Changing and Dreaming. Today, our scene is in a very different place. It's in Wixen. The basically William is going to arrive at Wixen after not coming here for a couple days, and he will look around for a certain individual after saying hi to the troll at the door.
You'll see Amber back in her usual, element. Her usual element. She is, back to serving drinks, talking with people. She looks. It doesn't look like a whole lot's changed with her. She almost looks the same, almost like the 2 weeks she was gone hadn't happened. But when she sees William, she gives a smile and will go over and give him a hug if that is acceptable to him.
William will immediately hug her, and he will say, 2 weeks is too much. Don't torture me again.
Well, if you insist.
You see, I did dumb stuff while you were not here.
Oh, I'm what, 85% of your impulse control now?
The 95. Let's just say 90. Much better that way.
Well, my bar's not on fire, so there's that.
I didn't want to, cause problems while you're not here.
That's very much appreciated.
No problem. Before, I actually want to ask you how. I would like to know, how was it, the your new Falcon and yourself, the visit, being away 2 weeks.
It was hot.
Okay.
Yeah, it was hot. I was outside a lot. I got burned a little bit, and she'll turn and kind of show a part of her shoulder. Be like, I missed it, but other than that, a couple scratches from some talons where I wasn't smart enough, but was very informative. And you can only imagine my elation when I got off the plane and saw the new announcement from our great
Esteemed
kitty friend.
Yeah, kitty cat. Yeah, would you like to go inside and talk?
I would absolutely hate that. Can I get you something to drink?
It's up to you. I don't mind.
She'll raise an eyebrow and be like, I feel like that. Okay. And she'll get him another beer on tap, but probably not his usual, just to shake things up.
He will open the door, or the back door, and wait for her. Actually, he won't just step in immediately.
She curtsies before entering.
He enters, and he closes the door. I wasn't expecting that to happen, and he immediately says that he really he looks kind of weird.
That's I wouldn't expect any less from a puka.
He comes near her, and while they're near nobody, he gives her a small kiss on the cheek, and he kind of smells her hair, but he doesn't do anything more, and then He looks at the beer. Oh, this is different.
She just smiles and says, "I almost gave you the the Watership Down drink, but I thought unlike I've had too many surprises since I got back.
um, so you wish to know what happened while you were not here?
I mean, I'm definitely not a naturally curious person."
Okay. He sits down. Um,
She'll sit too with Waters.
okay. Um, it was slow. Um, I we talked with the snitch. So basically, what's happened is we had this snitch that we found out near you, Misha, you, me, and the from this Slua guy that you were going to defend in the future. We went near the Boggin, and Boggin kept lying to us. She was extremely manipulative and good at lying. Um, but then first, like it was going to be Misha was going to be the good cop, I was going to be the bad cop, and then Misha just immediately believed her and act like a good cop. Then I become the bad cop. I kept intimidating her, and she just kept denying it. Then we said, then we will leave it to professionals and get you arrested. I called Mariposa, and she said, bring her here. And I said, I don't work for you. Bring your goddamn guards. Um, guess who she sent?
I mean, I don't think our kitty friend is one of her guards, but that would be my first guess.
Yeah, the kitty cat just appeared. His puka questions get us to the answers. I thanked him. It seems that she actually told the ranchers the um, the location, basically just to make prove that she can make a difference as well. And those who bullied her will, like those who did something to her will get paid. She said, I just wanted to show that I can change things as well, or I can hurt people as well. Which kind of pissed Leona. He tried to punch her, and I get into the middle. Um, Other than that, um, the tournament was going to happen, and I decided, you know what? It would be really cool if people actually protests this tournament because nor Leon or Mariposa is from here. The decision is made by the Queen, which nobody asked us who do you want. I said, you know what? It's the mastery. Like it's stupid. So I made a speech, and Leon, hearing that, manipulated Mariposa into backing down and saying, basically, I will be the guy who keep everything together. Like basically, he stated that he will be a guy who will keep commoners and nobles together, which I laughed at and said, Mariposa, you're a fool to believe him. But shit was too late already. It just become crazy and crazy more. He told me that, if I want to call him an idiot, he is at his training grounds. Then I brought in front of the freehold idiot house cat just to make sure everybody sees what I did. Um, and he sent me the painting job, painting money that he ordered to commoners to paint it, and he said, you will pay it, and I paid it.
I'm sorry, I'm a little confused on the last part. So you painted that outside your freehold, and he did what now?
No, no, no. I So then I made a speech. I called out nobles and said, it's stupid to make a tournament to choose a leader. Leon manipulated everybody and become a count, and in his speech, he called me out and said, if anybody wants to call me an idiot, they can. I will be training my guards. Then, because he called me out and, I don't fucking fear from him, I painted in front of his freehold, county freehold, idiot house cat, and left my names, V and B, WV and we. So he ordered commoners to paint it and then send it the money that costed to paint it to me, and I paid it. It's fine. It's not a big deal.
Oh, so he paid commoners to paint over it.
Mm-hmm.
I understand.
um, and among other news, I got cured. The Alice cured me.
And how are things with Alice?
We talked. We're getting better, I guess. She was really sad because the Boggin girl called her out on her wedding, said that you didn't defend those people. She was very sad, and I tried to help her.
That's good to hear, at least. What are you planning on doing about Leon at this point?
First, I thought I wanted to do a rebellion, as I always do, as he kind of like smiles. Secondly, I realized it is stupid to do something against him while the renters are a problem. We need to deal with the renters first before we do anything about Leon. The I am not happy that he is a count. I don't think we need a warlord as a count in the city of New York, which is a place of art and peace. Um, but at this moment, there is no other leader who's supported by the majority.
Is he supported by the majority?
Most commoners doesn't like Mariposa because of my speeches, because they think Leon is a commoner. Leon is a noble, he's not a commoner. I don't differentiate individuals as commoners and Shia. I differentiate individuals as nobles and commoners. So the word commoner kid to me doesn't make any goddamn sense. He, in my opinion, is one of the worst examples of nobles who believes they're the man, they're the guy who will do things everything right, who usually runs away from checks. He talked about it, like the Iron Man said. If you are not allowing any checks, you're not different than the bad guys. That's what lawless do.
Do you think he's planning on making any move against you?
He already did twice. But those were not like the moves that hurts my life. The first one was basically choosing. Basically, he took away my champion. My champion was going to be Shea, and he asked a question, and he got a chance to punish Shea in a way where it doesn't hurt me, because Shea was going to be my champion, but he chose to way to punish Shea in a way where it hurts me because I needed another champion. Um, Secondly, the second I got attacked, the guy who didn't do anything about the renters except like putting security made a public announcement about I got attacked. And like I can tell you why he did this, and you may disagree or not agree with me. There is an image of every individual, and my image was kind of like William Black. He kicks ass. He does stuff. He talks shit about the nobles. So if you see me getting attacked in the streets, that image kind of gets lowered. If you hear it, that image, it hurts. So Leon very subtly tried to reduce my image, and my image isn't the problem. My image is important, but it's not important as the safety of commoners. So I basically tell him that I see what he does, but it's fine. It's no big deal as long as people are safe. I don't need to be the hero all the time, as long as again people are safe.
But you don't think he's going to make any sort of violent move, or I mean, I wouldn't think that trying to sabotage anything we do against the ranters would be favorable for him.
I think that's a move that Leon wouldn't do, because that is, if he gets captured, he is fucked. And I don't think, like, as much as I don't think he's like an Isidore, like, I don't think he's evil. I just think he's an asshole. I don't think he was like Isidore, who killed people's brothers for no reason. But at the same time, he is not a leader we need. Like, this place is extremely liberal. There's two states, which is like democratic. There are people who are coming to Brooklyn from other baronies because they believe in the leaders that they choose. They are There are people who are bored with she telling them what to do. There are people who are bored with unequal justice system. And like sadly, I don't think Leon is the guy who will give what we need. But at the same time, I don't see anybody else. Mariposa is a she, and she told me she's proud of being in a house. And like, yeah, she's a she, and you can't just change her mind. But like, being proud of a house is mean I am being proud of being privileged. Like that girl who went to school with Emma M16 on her back and nothing happened to her.
Hmm.
Like that girl was proud of what she did. So does Mariposa, who was proud of being privileged. So this is extremely complicated, and we need to. I think like if we're gonna do anything, especially me, we just need to watch our actions. I saw in the past, like when I make a speech, people understand, but right now we don't have like stupid people like Isidore who is just stupidly mad. We have people who are acknowledge that we are a threat because we are a threat to the nobility. Like you, as a councilwoman, you are a threat to nobility. The more you do good, the bigger threat you will become. Because people will see that you, Amber Kidridge, is working. You're part of a system that is working for the safety of commoners. Like, remember when we talked about first time about this, like what we will do, what do we need to do? We talk about education, security, but those were like immediately important things that we wanted to do in the beginning. When we were talking about like possibility of individuals, what do we need? And I'm not a council member, but I look for these stuff, and I will like try to do help you guys to do these stuff. Even if we can achieve these two things, it's not something that is being done in other baronies already. Like no barony has education for commoners. No barony has a like police. They have captain of the guards who are sworn to their barons. Um, I want to open trade routes, which we will come to talk in the future in this meeting, hopefully. But like, um, the best thing we can do regarding Lyon is to show that this shit works, and it's working better than their system.
Amber's smiling when he says that last part, um, and she'll just kind of take a sip of her water and say, I like this new approach. I like something my mom used to tell me that the best revenge is success.
Um, you're completely right. Um, but at the same time, I need to tell you another thing. There's three baronies in New York right now: Queens, Bronx, and Manhattan. Did you knew that they actually made a deal?
What sort of deal?
They, as far as I know, but I don't know every detail. It's about a connection between them to aid each other, I think, because that's what I gathered from Alice. Or basically, they don't want more William Blacks. They don't want more democratic states, so they're actually like coming together and creating an alliance.
Did Alice disclose anything else about the nature of this alliance?
No, she didn't. She didn't know a lot about it, actually. That's how it looked like. Maybe she just wanted to look like she didn't know a lot.
You're not going to like this, but I could attempt to get more information about this thing.
From Charles.
Charles.
I don't know, like, you just said you're not gonna like it.
I don't know if Charles knows anything about this, but I know if they've made this sort of agreement that our uh, our good friend Mufasa must have some information about it.
He shrugs. I don't like it when you're in danger, but I also know that I should trust you.
I don't think I'm in any serious danger, at least physically,
I
from Leon, and the sort of danger that you're speaking of is the danger that I know how to be in.
I just be careful, and if something
I'm always
happens,
careful.
if something happens, like you have the um you have the butterfly, and I'm not gonna hesitate to unleash Wayfair to be near you immediately.
I think Leon knows that. I think he would be stupid to try anything. Nor do I think he has any reason to at this point.
So there's like a bunch of shit that I talk with Misha that I also want to talk to you. And
Go
again,
ahead.
I really apologize. I'm gonna talk a lot. but I think you will like the ideas extremely.
All right.
So, um, I have 45 draws at the moment. Some of them came from um, Isidore's personal stuff. Some of them came from myself. I've been working very hard on gathering draws. Um, this dross is going to be used for creating a police force. I will basically give this to the council and the SAM and ask permission to educate individuals in art of melee combat, brawl, if they need. And like Sam didn't want them to look like military, but basically we need our guards. And I seen Leon's royal guards, for example. They're extremely well equipped. I want to get the best equipments for these individuals and to like create a force that will defend us. They're like that will be united, that will be well organized. Because in the past, I think you would remember, there were like red cap gangs walking around, like acting like they will intimidate us. If this happened in Manhattan, it happened in Brooklyn. There were people who were dying on streets. We don't need these stuff, and people like this can happen because we don't have a proper force. Like we have guards, but these guards are hired by Isidore. So basically, creating a new guard and guard or protectorates, whatever we can I think you can find a cool name for it. Um, Creating a cool guard will make us more safe. It will show that we are actually capable of doing, and we don't need to tell anybody that I actually gave them money. Sam is looking for a captain of the guard. He asked for me, but I said no. I offered Bill Freedom or Desiree from Queens, the troll who saved me. She seems extremely she wants to stay in Queens, but like I don't know, um maybe you can persuade her or find anyone who's better, who would be a better captain of the guard. And he like looks at Amber to like hear her opinions regarding this because he already talked a lot. And there's like a bunch of shit he will say more.
Sure. Um, she thinks about this. I don't think that. Well, I do agree that Desiree is incredibly capable and very strong. Um, I don't think that someone you have to convince to be in law enforcement would be the best person for the position. I can investigate. I do. I don't know if Bill wants to continue his line of work fighting. However, this might be something different. This is more about protection. Uh, and he seemed amenable to that sort of job prospect. Um, I a police force is a good idea at this stage. I think as long as we're careful with it, to make sure it has the sort of it doesn't have the sort of same problems that the human police force has, which means we would need more people than just you training them. There would need to be training in all sorts of different avenues, all sorts of different areas, and there would need to be some sort of handbook.
They need to receive an education. You're completely correct. They should be more than a bunch of henchmen of council and governor.
And we would need to have to specify their level of jurisdiction.
It's gonna be a tough job. I don't know if you like writing.
I like finding all the possible loopholes and fixing them.
I can try to write. Um, I don't know. Maybe we can work with someone regarding the rules. We don't need like 600 rules. That I don't think we are like we can write like none of us actually can write like 600 rules. There should
I
be a
think,
handbook. I agree.
yes, especially regarding use of force. I think that's the most important thing to look at when talking about any sort of police force or any sort of law enforcement agency, is their policies on use of force.
You're completely right. Okay, I talked with Misha, and Misha said that she will talk with Bill Freedom. If you want to like talk as well, like you can contact Misha. Um, the second idea is education. Again, like these all of this will like come to the council. I'm not doing things like on my own. I talk about these with like the governor as well. It's
Right,
just
real fast before you move on, I have
yeah,
one more
what's
thing
up?
that I just thought of.
What's
So
up?
you said you didn't want the police force to be like a military. Do you still want it? Well, from your perspective, do you think a military structure would be detrimental as well, or are you proposing some other sort of structure, or is this something that the council will be speaking about?
So I think they should be close to the guards, but they should be more like the guard structure of the county. Like the county has guards and they do what the count says. I think it should be close to basically the first line of defense. It shouldn't be just you know it just shouldn't be a yeah, police shooting at the air, move along. Like these guys, if there's any dark trot opens here, these guys will be the first line of defense. That's why I was saying like I want to teach them how to fight. Like there needs to be we just can't have like guards. We can't separate the guards and law enforcement because we don't have a lot of people like that. Um, we I think my opinion is needs to be like the council needs to decide with Sam regarding like um what they need the most and then decide uh like what these guards or police force will do. The Sam wanted to be away from military because he doesn't like he doesn't want to be a warlord, I think.
Right, that makes sense. My only hesitation is that I can't think of any police forces off the top of my head that don't have a military structure.
I completely agree. Like you're yeah, like you just said what I wanted to say. There will be some kind of a structure. There should be. The reason I said, for example, Bill Freedom should be captain of the guard or the captain of the police is because he's a scary motherfucker. Like one of the best things about the police, and this is like this may not work for the real police, but this works for the captain of the guard. Like when you have a baron who has a really tough captain of the guard, you will see all the rat caps are just not acting like normal rat caps because they're scared from that guy and what he can do to them. And sadly, we live in a life where we have like powers where we can fly, we can just shapeshift, and these rules kind of go weirdly with a bunch of other rules that human society has. So there needs to be some loopholes. Like when I say loopholes, there needs to be some kind of like um understanding that we are not simply humans. We can't have too much rules and the 50 pages of guides, which I think it should be 600 pages for police force in real human society. So like, while idea of having guards and them being extremely well equipped is good, I think council needs to decide um what they're going to be. My first instinct is just comes from that we need something because as I have said, we just need to be better than everybody.
Well, from what you've been saying, my first instinct is to, rather than begin with creating a entire police force, as in something that dividing up Brooklyn into precincts and stationing people there proportionate to the amount of crime and the amount of changeling population. We start with some sort of SWAT team, some sort of it wouldn't obviously be called SWAT. I need to think of something better, but some sort of like you were saying, specialized task force to be the first responders, and then from there decide what works and what doesn't, and if a larger law enforcement group is needed.
Let's call them FR, first response.
Makes sense.
Be, they will be the like we have guards and like in my opinion they should be evaluated by one of the council members regarding their like stance towards democratic state because they were like hired by Isidore, and then I can like try to help about recruiting more people. Um,
Generally, in a first responders team, you also have medics.
you're completely right. Again and again. Yeah.
Just saying that would be a different angle, I think, than a police force, but seems like I don't know. It seems more pertinent.
The maybe what we can do is not just creating a police force, but keeping the guards, you know, the guard structure of the old barony, which is continuing state of the democratic state of Brooklyn. There are guards right now.
Mm-hmm.
We can have guards and we can actually invest in them, educate them more. Like you can actually, or someone else, educate them regarding like responses. And inside of them, we also create a first response team, which is basically they respond to the threats and anything else that happens. Like let's just say there's a dark cloud open, their responsibility is to pull everybody inside, assess the situation, make sure everybody is safe. Um, like they would be, for example, like the first member of this first response team should be, in my opinion, captain of the guard. So maybe I think it would be better to keep the guard force and create like specific divisions or specific like like by adding more educations to the guard force, keep them active and trained, making them examples. The first, um, as you said, like we talk first response teams and guards. They're the same thing. Like for first response team can actually work as guards in their free time or in their official time. They will just be first response because they're trained to be first response. But
Right.
again, it's up to you and the council members. I just think this idea is amazing. The first response idea is amazing.
Sounds good. That's first thing. Next thing you were talking about education.
He takes a deep breath. um, basically, I think you remember Vanessa, the slua who helped us in skewering those weapons from the dreaming, the sword, flail, and the wand. I was trying to convince her to come to the Brooklyn, which may be a problem, but I know she has a lot of books, and I know she is very like knowledgeable. So I was thinking maybe we can start creating a an education center, which is like in either Remember the Fort or one of other places in the democratic state. Basically, she comes in one time in a week, um, and she basically like educates people, those who wishes to learn about changing society, etiquette, history, kids. They come there, they learn one time in a week, and they leave. Our childlings, um, though freshly uh, chrysalis individuals, they all can come in, take education, and leave. A public school. This has been this has not been practiced in any other barony in New York, as far as I know. It's an extremely good change, in my opinion, and it can prove a lot of fruits. The people will actually start learning about our history. It won't be just like, I heard from this guy that like the she once killed us, or it won't. I learned from this guy that like trolls are, they're just extremely fast, I guess, or seals turn into skirtles. They will actually learn the things they need to learn. And so first, I'm gonna stop here, hear your comments.
No, I'm in favor of this sort of education system. I think this should be something that we start in Brooklyn before trying to move it to other baronies, or to suggest it to other baronies, because if we have something that we show works or has high attendance, then it will be easier to convince other people to employ something similar.
We had a different idea with uh, Misha, which was it will be free to those who comes from Brooklyn, but those who comes from outside of Brooklyn will have to pay a really small amount of fee to get educated.
Have you spoken to Vanessa?
I did, pardon, I didn't, but I opened the idea in the past that we will do things in Brooklyn, and she was okay about it. I kind of want you to talk about it because I'm going to be honest. I just don't want to be seen as like, um, I don't want to prove the rumors of like William Black ruling that barony, the state from the shadows, blah blah blah. I just think like you would be actually better at convincing her as well.
I hope we don't have to convince her. Like I said, I don't think anyone you have to convince to do a job is the best person for the job. But I also think that I could investigate to see if there's anyone else who could be teaching, because similar to, I want someone other, or in addition to you, teaching the guards, is that there are areas that Vanessa isn't going to have the sort of expertise in. I think getting again, you may not like this, someone in the nobility to also be a part of the education, so that any opinions given by either the commoner teacher or the nobility teacher will be balanced.
William like takes a deep breath. If that's what you wish.
I don't know how receptive any nobility would be to this, but I can at the very least investigate it.
I don't think we need any nobles to teach our own history, to tell them, yeah, noble houses came in and gave everybody freedom, liberty, protection.
That's why we would have a commoner teacher saying something else. There's whenever you learn history, especially, it's written by the victors, but you don't, at the same time, if you only have the story from one side, you don't have the whole story.
I think Vanessa is an extremely good individual who would teach the truth, like from the both sides. Like she wouldn't be like the fuck nobles. Um, like I associate with most of different commoners. Like Dixie is crazy. Vanessa is extremely nice, and she is like very. She cares about her library a lot. So um, I don't think she will be that way. I would like say don't do that because it's kind of against the democratic state. But that's your your decision, not mine. Vanessa, there is like an issue of payment because she shouldn't do this for free. I was thinking like we can offer her certain amount of draws for each class. Like let's just say 2 draws for each class that she does for a week, or one, so she earns like 4 draws for giving 2 hours of lessons for every weekend in Sundays. Everybody's free until Sundays, and that is an issue. The Sam and the Governor will have to deal with. If they need money, I can always help as well. Like it's no big deal. We can take turns in paying Vanessa if need be. Um, Among the ideas, it's like if anybody wants to teach or learn arts, that can be like a deal with Vanessa. Like if someone wants to learn an art, they can just like contact the council, and the council can try to find them a teacher or some shit like that. It's again up to council.
All all makes sense. From your comment on the truth that Vanessa would tell her students the truth. The truth could be told in 1,000 different ways, and everyone could be correct. That's the tricky part about any sort of education. But that can be a conversation, obviously, for the council as a whole, and can be something I could perhaps create a better case for when I finish investigating, if there would be anyone else willing to provide this education. I think also finding nobility that have the resources to teach things that Vanessa maybe doesn't have access to is another potential benefit to such a thing.
William like takes a deep breath again, but doesn't say anything.
I know it's not your this isn't your favorite line of thinking, but that's the it's the thing with trying to learn, even if you do have someone who is trying to tell you the most unbiased perspective, they're still going to be biased because of the way that they were brought up and the fact that they're not a human, excuse me, that they're a separate person with free will and their own experiences. There are things that just need multiple perspectives in order to be understood fully.
You can actually like sometimes maybe like we can Another offer is basically you can hire Vanessa, and then one time in a month, if individuals requires or asks for it, we can try to find a noble who would actually teach them about the different perspective. But again, I'm not saying anything. The different ideas makes things better.
Yes, it will be a point of discussion during the meeting.
Um, so the third thing, if you are done with the comments,
Oh, never done with comments, but ready to move on.
okay. Um, the third thing was if the baronies are creating an alliance, why not create an alliance with the Staten Island? It would look better. We are
Yes.
making, please.
So that's certainly an option to look into. I think I at least don't want to make any decisions regarding that sort of alliance until I have more information about exactly what this alliance is entailing, or even if it's a real thing. I have no doubt that Alice wouldn't be. No doubt that Alice is telling the truth, but perhaps she's being told something different from Sebastian than maybe exactly what's happening.
Exactly. The this was extremely simple. The basically like the an alliance and the fourth one is for future. It's for far future, but it's a good idea. I think Misha liked it. Um, have you heard about uh the place called mm, Commonwealth, the Commonwealth of Hope's Boundary?
I am familiar with how commonwealths work in human society, and I can say I know everything about exactly what you speak of.
There used to be a duke called Duke Rialdo House Gvidian. He was unpopular and tyrannical, so like it was a bastion of traditionalism, and commoners were like, "Fuck you," and they rebelled. It was called Duchy of Mirrors. This like bastion of traditionalism fell to uprising. Rebels deposed the unpopular duke and replaced him with a satyr grump called Zarkis, I think. This like guy rules like it's now ruled by a representative council elected through town meetings. They are like waiting for a high king to approve them or disapprove them. Um,
Where is it located?
Connecticut. I think
It's
I
not too
could.
far.
Oh, see, I don't think I couldn't say Connecticut.
You said it right.
Oh, okay, thank you. William will say, so it's not that far. And while all baronies, counties, duchies have this like weird problems because again, noble society. This like democratic states or free commoner states has something in common. They're alone. Resources and aid from a duchy to this barony for resources, for creating trade agreements can be crazy and extremely good for this place. Um,
I'm of a similar mind.
I was thinking like after some time when we dealt with ranchers, when we opened like the education system and actually like did the first response team or the police force or whatever we will do, we can go to them and state a case about like creating a better relationship and alliance. Yes, we are still connected to county, but well, Lyon is a fucking count, and these guys are like duchy. They're like bigger than this place. Um, we may not receive any aid, or we may, but trying is half of the job.
Yes, I
Um,
think that's a reasonable extension of any sort of alliance we make with Staten Island.
the idea, this idea is growing aligned to something I had for a long time. So Misha is very good at finance. And I was like very happy when she was chosen as a councilwoman because I was thinking that she can help a lot regarding the financial problems. Same with you. Um, so in our freehold, there is a possibility of opening 5 trods. These trods will be very opening to different places. We didn't decide all of them, but I asked a something to Sam and Misha. I know Hole and Shea is close to this idea as well. So while education and the um, development security is extremely important, making these things better comes with money. Like sadly, money is very important. So I talked with Misha, and basically I was trying to find out what the individuals in, first of all, Brooklyn is needing. I talked with Maurice, and Maurice told me like, I need raw materials for this and this and this. I talked with Dixie. She said I need raw materials. I talked with like couple others individual, and everybody needs something. For example, like Sam is a baker. You are selling chimerical drinks here time to time. Misha is selling chimerical stuff. Maurice and Dixie, they're selling chimerical gadgets. So there's a trade in Brooklyn because Brooklyn is the biggest of the boroughs. There's more changelings here than any other borough. Now, when you think about this, there's something extremely important, which is more changelings will need more needs. That means there's probably a need and a demand of something in Brooklyn. I'm trying to find by asking questions, thanks to Misha's, finance education. She's really professional about this. I don't know how much you are because we didn't talk about this in the past, but she's gonna help me create some questions, and I will make surveys. Then I will go to other baronies and make the surveys. We will find what the city really needs regarding raw materials, and open 2 trods leads to other freeholds or places in dreaming that actually can grab those raw materials or sell those raw materials. I talked with Sam and Misha again, and they're open to the idea of, for example, uh, time to time individuals, of Brooklyn, whenever actually individuals of Brooklyn, whenever they want, they can use those trods to basically like go and buy stuff from there and come back. Um, at the same time, we will invite caravans to come here to sell the goods. We will make deals with these individuals, and like for example, 10% of this income, the 5% will come to the freehold, to look after the freehold, and the 5% will come to the Democratic State of Brooklyn as income. If other baronies wants to use the trods, they will pay a small amount of fee. So I talked with like Goblin Town, and like they were like, we are making gadgets, we need raw materials. So basically, raising trade, opening and supplying demand is just going to raise the economy of Brooklyn, which I don't know, it can be really good. Um, I also told Misha, and Misha really liked it. I think you will like it as well. Opening these doors to other merchants is going to do two things. Yes, it will raise the population for a while that we need to control. That's a downside. That there might be like thieves who might come from there. Um, Secondly, these individuals who comes from the other side or goes, let's just say there's a caravan comes from the other side. The caravan will drink here. They will buy stuff from Maurice and other individuals who does trade. They will stay in the Cauldron House. Everybody will benefit from this. Maybe they will share tales with us, you know, socializing. We will open the borders to other trade centers and just raise the trade and gain money out of it for the state of democratic state of Brooklyn. And he kind of like sits back because it's a big idea that he had for a long time, and like basically he hopes Ember likes it.
I think opening trade could be a lucrative investment. However, my hesitation in doing something like this all at once is inflation.
He like looks at her. He doesn't understand what she means.
So you were talking about supply and demand, right? So if we open these trods to the dreaming and suddenly we have all this supply and we have, all of this, all of everyone's receiving this income, then if everyone suddenly has much more money, then that's going to affect the cost of all the other goods and services. It's going to could go one of two ways. First of all, it will devalue anything that is currently being sold because everyone will have this other source of income. Or alternatively, it could be a disadvantage to anyone in Brooklyn who doesn't have this, who will not receive this source of income. Because then suddenly everyone has all of this money, so things can, of course, prices will rise. And as the prices rise, people who might not have access to the same source of income will no longer be able to buy the things that they usually do.
William keeps thinking hard on this.
That's why if this happens, it needs to be gradual.
It needs to build slowly.
And we need to make sure that when it does reach such an apex, we can control for the I don't want to say value of the dollar because that's not quite what it is, but whatever the changeling equivalent of that is.
Dross. I think Misha can do it. She has enough finance to understand a lot of things. She taught me a couple, but I didn't understand that much. I think you both can do a lot of good. We can start with like monthly caravans. my end idea, which I told Sam, was every week there will be a caravan. But you're right, that will create crazy things, and it actually can be seen as aggressive towards the other baronies if you just spy everything.
I don't
But
want
yeah,
to create this sort of income inequality that would only exacerbate the problems that are already that have already been created by the human economy.
you're completely right. That's why I need you more. Maybe after talking with Vanessa, you can inform the council members and then make a decision.
Regarding everything,
No, like one by one. I will, if you want, I can actually talk about the police and the first teams, but like it will be busy. It will be busy months. We, I hope, just like we achieve these things as quickly and healthily as we can.
well, I think the good thing about having 5 council members is that we can distribute distribute the work. I think establishing a first response team should be the priority, which means we should get that in motion first. And once that happens, we can hand that over to one of the council members to sort of oversee. And then we can divide up education, the alliance, and this trade idea uh, among the other 4.
Hmm. Okay.
Alternatively, we could assign 2 people to the first response team, depending on how much work it looks like it's going to require. But my point is, we can delegate here.
Exactly. Like, I think, like, for example, I told Misha that you should be talking with the Vanessa and at the same time with the Staten Island, but we can send whole the Rav Maurice can do things as well. He's a council member.
I think Rav wanted to help with the prospect of education, right?
Hmm. I will try to find him after. Um, I will try to find him soon and explain him. Maybe he would do it. He will talk with Vanessa and he can find maybe teachers, or maybe he would like to be a teacher. Who knows?
I can put out my feelers to see if I can find anyone who'd be interested in being part of the education or the first response team, and then I can focus. I can see if there are any rumors also about this alliance, and then after that, take that into more of a personal project.
Okay. Hmm. I'm sorry for fucking Leon thing up.
I don't think that was entirely your fault, and I wouldn't even say it's at anyone's fault. I don't think you're I think you were doing what you do, which is looking out and being a voice for the larger commoner population. And this was a power move by Leon to try and scare you into being silent in the future, I think.
The the rancher's problem is it's coming to an end slowly. I think there will be a scouting mission soon from our sneaky fellows, and after like they receive some information, I will call for a meeting. I will invite you, Charles, Alice, and rest of the gang, and talk about like what we can do and what we should do. For example, Alice says that she wants all the baronies involved. All the baronies should act like they're working together, holding hands to fight this threat. Which I think you would want the same. I don't know, do you or do you not? But I just think that it's kind of lying to people. Most of the baronies stood silent when the problems were rising, and like why we should invite them while they should beg us to aid. I just think it's a lie. I don't lie something that I don't want to be involved in. I like why I should act like I'm holding hands with, let's just say, um one of the knights in like Queens or Manhattan, and act like, yeah, man, it's not like you didn't do you did everything you can about this. But will be up to people. I have a couple ideas on how we can deal with them. If I can get all the information, that will be more clear for me, of course.
I don't think we need to hold hands with anybody. I think that if they're smart, the other barony should want to be a part of this. I think that it should be our initiative since we, like you said, have done literally everything up until this point. But we have had offers of extra forces from a couple of people at this point, and we should be open to. I don't think necessarily we should have to chase after anyone else, but any barony that doesn't get involved with this is an idiot.
I don't want this to be Leon's power move.
Oh,
To
it won't
show,
be.
to,
He
to,
offered a couple men, but
wait, he offered couple men? It's like really extreme, like immediately like 1 to, let's just say, out of 10, he just like 8. One, like few men.
that was me downplaying. That was me saying that, you know, they might offer the foot soldiers, but we will be the ones that actually take this operation down. No matter what he tries to do, he's not going to be able to take credit for it. He could be taking credit for assisting us, but in the end, it still couldn't have happened without us.
That's why I didn't tell him anything, and now probably Mariposa will have to tell him that I know most of the stuff and where they are, which sucks. But we just need to act fast. I'm waiting for the response of the scouting, and then I will call people for a meeting. I just want to deal with this problem, be done with them, cause when we're done with the renters, we can do what we planned in the past regarding your arts and our freehold.
Well, very true. I
Yeah.
um I do recall asking Leon if a scouting mission would be possible. I should probably touch base with him to see if anything has come of that.
You did what? Pardon? What? Huh?
I in after you said that he offered support in terms of foot soldiers, but you said you already had that. I asked if he could provide anything else in terms of reconnaissance. So I
Mm-hmm.
should check in with him to see if anything's come of that.
Up to you. Um, I think after renters are done, um, maybe like every month or whichever you prefer, we can do like concerts, tournaments, small public gatherings in Remember the Fourth freehold or another freehold. And like as a councilwoman, you can cast your summer art that refills like as you say, glamorous free.
Well,
What do you,
if it takes place in a freehold, you don't need my glamour. But yes, I understand what you're saying.
our glamour is not like, pardon, our freehold is not Taranar. It doesn't fill everyone inside. It's actually quite small. It's just that we put a lot of work to make it big.
I understand.
The Bale Fires has a level. Um, our freehold is big as Taranar, but the Bale Fire is not strong as Taranar.
I see.
So like um I think I like that art, which I actually very interested in the beginning, but I didn't learn it. Um, the I think it refills like the willingness of doing things, like like your willfulness, your strong will, or something like it. Like it refills a lot of things. So
It depends on how well I cast it, but once I do cast it, anything that essentially whatever benefits it it has applies to everyone invited into the space that I establish.
oh, that's quite nice. There was this like punk group there recently who were here. I hope they didn't leave anywhere because they were making good music. And yes, that was the last of it. I'm really sorry for all these politics and whatever.
Sorry. I think I signed up for this. I don't remember, signing a contract. I remember taking an oath, but I remember distinctly running for being a councilwoman, which I think I'm not a professional. I think involves a little bit of politics in running a democratic state.
William like takes a deep breath because he really likes this side of Amber. He's like takes a deep breath, like, mm-hmm. How's your Wilson?
Oh, he is. I think he very much enjoyed the public transit system of of New York, but he is being well taken care of in Westchester. He's less of mine now and more of I was the one, I was training with him and I need to continue that if I want anything to come of it.
Was that guy hot?
Which guy?
The guy who trained.
How do you know it was a guy?
You said the guy. You said there was a guy who you left Wilson with.
Oh, yes. He was a sorry, I thought you meant the person who was training me in falconry. No, he's a I'd say he's attractive if you like the old, skinny, scholarly type.
Okay. 2 weeks. Just 2 weeks without you is cruel. You are cruel. That's
Was
that's
a
all I'm gonna say.
was I don't know. My heart's been stolen by a bird of prey.
Lillian um looks at Amber's hair. Like when your someone like touches your hair and puts it behind your ear.
Mm-hmm.
He does that, and he gives a look and smiles. I can say like there's a difference in the Wixen when you were in the Wixen. Safely say that.
I wouldn't let Vivi hear you say that.
Yeah, hopefully she won't.
It is good to be back where I do enjoy learning new things, but it's also good to be back where I'm the one who knows the things.
Thank you. William says like thank you, like, oh, I see how it is.
And the people here are all right.
Yeah, sure. I'm just taking my words back. Everything is fine. I dealt with everything. It's completely okay. God.
From the way you said it, I thought I should be expecting something to be on fire, but it seems as though things are being that you were exaggerating just a little bit, taking a page out of my book.
I am learning. Yeah, that's it. I'm learning.
That's good. I think the minute you stop being a student, you know, stop being a productive member of society.
The best teacher is the one who remains a student. That's what my
There we
father used
go.
to say. Is there anything else?
Just that if you start any of these training sessions, to invite me. I've been practicing with the sword. I think I'm getting better.
Okay.
Oh, and do you know who's in possession of the flail at the moment?
Alice. He laughs to himself. It's a commoner flail. Those who rebelled against their leaders usually had those flails.
I guess it makes more sense than Christian having it.
Probably, you're right. God. He takes a deep breath and like remembering Christian. Okay then. Then I guess I will leave. If everything is done.
I don't think everything's far from done, but I think we're in a good place to continue with these ideas.
Okay. That's good to know.
I get off work at midnight, just in case you were wondering.
Finally, we're talking. Um, William will like come to near her and actually like give her a kiss, a proper kiss.
Yeah, she's receptive.
Receptive. I actually did translate that word now.
Oh, it means like okay with it.
Okay.
A little better than that, but let me find you like a an actual definition. Willing to consider or accept.
Okay. Would you like that be the moment we end our scene?
Yes, sounds good.
Okay. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, guys, for watching. See you next time.